couple of the teams who are planning for the future. So Sam Draper confirmed to Essendon today that he is going to exercise his free agency. This has been a conversation that's been going for months now. The Brisbane Lions were the favourite throughout. Adelaide have made a move. He didn't tip his hand with the Bombers today. It's widely believed that he will go to the Lions, and he does look like precisely what the Lions need. Just to recap, so he spoke about how difficult this period has been mentally and physically. So if you go back to 2021, he had the syndesmosis, he misses 12 weeks. Then he plays all of 2022, 14 games, 16 games, 5 games. Knee surgery, the Achilles surgery. It's 78 games since his debut in 2020. So he hasn't been able to be there often enough.
No, and that's a familiar thread that's running right through the Essendon Footy Club, which will be interesting to speak to Brad about. He goes out and acknowledges his teammates, brothers, and all the stuff, the emotional stuff that we understand. But the bottom line is, he says, I'm walking out the door. You can say all this now, but I'm leaving you right now when you probably need me and some stability more than I'm leaving. Now, I don't begrudge him. That's the rules. Yeah, you can do that. But if you're an Essendon fan, move on and move on quickly. I went back and had a look at the premiers of the last few years. Darcy Fort was the ruckman in last year's premiership team started. You can find a ruckman, Gerard. This is what I'm saying. The panic won't set in. They'll get compensation and then they'll go to work. They're loaded from a draft point of view. So Darcy Cameron started his career at Sydney, ends up at Collingwood, plays as a premiership ruckman. Reece Stanley starts at St Kilda and rucks for Geelong. Max Gawn is a one-off. And then you go down to Toby Nankervis started at Sydney. And if you want to go back a little bit further, David Hale started at North Melbourne and rucked through. So you'll find a ruckman. If you want to get there, you can find ruckman. They're not, he's a good player, Sam Draper, but don't burn your membership on the back of him leaving. Yep. So you'll get compensation, and then you've got to rely on your team to get to work, and you can find them. They're out there.
Melbourne's finished the first round of coaching interviews over the previous couple of days. The best and fairest has been held tonight, and Paul Guerra spoke with David Zeta, so this is the Chief Executive of the Demons.
Yeah, big couple of days, and the great thing is for every Melbourne supporter, there's a number of quality candidates that want to coach the football club. So, we'll sort that out in the next week, but it's been a really good process and we've had some really fantastic insights. But great for Melbourne supporters, but importantly, good for the AFL competition to know that some real quality coaches ready to coach AFL teams.
I'm sure you wouldn't be oblivious to the narrative that it's Nathan Buckley's job to lose, and that even before Simon Goodwin departed, there may have been conversations. It's a pretty significant narrative. What do you make of that narrative?
Yeah, everyone's going to have their opinion on it. We've been really clear. We narrowed it down to 6. We've taken them through the process, and let's see what comes out.
2026, what's the pass mark for you guys? Where do you expect to be playing? Do you expect to be competing in September?
Yeah, we do. That's the intention for the football club. We've seen Adelaide bounce from 14th last year to playing finals. We've got our best and fairest tonight. We want to be playing finals. That's what Melbourne players want to be doing. That's what the club wants to be doing. And that's what our fans expect us to be doing.
So that would have been a fascinating part of the discussions with prospective coaches. So the list of 6 had been publicised: Nathan Buckley, James Kelly, Stephen King, Daniel Giansiracusa and Brendan Lade. Hayden Skipworth didn't go through the process. He removed himself last week.
Yeah, so I think there's an element of self-awareness about where you're at in the process. With Collingwood, who are red hot on him and love what he's doing, maybe they spoke to him and said, there is time ahead, but there are things to be done there. I'm speculating, but there are strong candidates left, and it was a pretty intense process from all reports. Long interviews and impressive candidates. There are a couple who I'm told really impressed them. So we'll wait and see what that spits out.
Having a bit of the Geelong DNA in there, given the success that's been had there, and they belong to a couple of generations. James Kelly as a player through the first wave and now as a coach there, and Stephen King the same. So you sort of, you do corner. Why has this lasted, 15 preliminary finals since the Mark Thompson year? The why and the how in that would have been fascinating to discuss.
Well, that's what you get when you go through a process, isn't it? It's one of the byproducts, is you get exposed to different environments and successful ones in this instance, those instances for sure. So, they're going to announce that prior to the preliminary final, so next week sometime.
Yep. So into the final stages pretty quickly.
I don't mind that. Get going. I mean, if you're doing the process and you've got to make a decision, get going. I don't think you have to box trifecta. I'm going Gawn, take him one out, and then box up Bowie and Pickett.
Right, yes, yeah, okay.
It won't pay well, but I think it's pretty safe.
Gawn, Bowie, Pickett. All right, we'll see how we go. Hey, at this time of year, we just take a little peek into trainings where it's all magnified, isn't it? So the Crows are on Adelaide Oval tonight. It's significant, obviously, just to get themselves right for what's coming on Friday night, but especially for Josh Rochelle, who's been out of business. Well, he's missed 8 matches now. So round 17 was the last time he played. The left knee, the PCL, and the complex injury that he had there. He is ahead of schedule, but can he force himself into the side? The Crows are out of business in the SANFL, so all he's got is training to prove himself. And Isaac Rankin, now that there is the possibility, he is back on the track and reintegrated with the team.
So Darren Burgess is the main man there from a strength and conditioning, none better in the business. And I suspect they'll play this young man. I'll be without any great knowledge, just from afar. We saw Collingwood, bring back Mason Cox, not from injury, mind you, but took a risk with him. There's no tomorrow. I think they'll play him. He looks like a player that might thrive on this big stage. So doesn't look like he's moving like a Rolls Royce, but it is training. I think it's important. There's a bit of exorcism happening in here as well. Get back out on the stage where you're all failed, look each other in the eye and own up, and then get on with it. And put it. Then after training, put it to bed, and let's get looking forward to Hawthorn. So I think he'll play, but we will wait and see.
Collingwood are ticking over. They've got their big public session tomorrow. The question constantly at the moment is Bobby Hill there? Now, there is a much bigger game at play than what we're looking at with just the football side of things, but can he be viable for a preliminary final? And Jeremy Howe is out on the track. Now, he's going to be with us next Tuesday night. It's Saturday week when they're likely to play, so time is his ally. But I think the Bobby Hill conversation is the fascinating one.
And it is, and it'll drive lots of debate on radio and television and column inches in papers, but no one knows. We're all guessing. So in terms of his preparation, in terms of how much work he's done, how many boxes he's ticked, from a whole footy club point of view, we've got no idea. And anyone that suggests they do, apart from those on the inside, would be guessing. So if he plays, you've got to assume that he's satisfied the criteria that Craig McRae's put down, and they've got it right more often than not, Collingwood, in recent times. On pure form and history, he would be a beautiful addition into that team. There's no question about that. But aside from that, we know nothing. So we'll just wait and see.
And he'd said, Bobby had asked him to give him a glimmer of hope. And the glimmer of hope is there. He was able to play that scratch match. Attendance is obviously compulsory from here. Yeah. And as you said, what we don't know is the standards in the locker room and whether he's actually been able to meet those or not, and whether it would be the right thing to do by those standards to bring him in a football side of things. So that's for them.
Yeah, and who misses out is on the basis of a team that went over and did what they did last week. So, that is one that we will speculate on for 2 weeks until such time as the team's announced. And if they get through there, we'll do it again. If he doesn't play, all the way up to the grand final. But again, over to the Magpies. And they've got it right most times.